Hey everybody, it's Craig. So we're going to do a video showing how to sand cast this fancy ring using the core kit. Okay, so I've got a lot of extra tools sitting here. It's because in the past I was selling the kit with this gray one, and now I have a black one, and I don't want people to get confused. I used to use the gray cores, but people were dropping too many of them and they were breaking. So I switched to these black ones, and they're a lot stronger. What else? The core blocks, they look like this. They're numbered. You got size 5 through 14. These are made out of resin. They're really smooth on the inside. And just for ease of manufacturing, we've switched to this type here. These open up, and this is the ones I'm going to be using for this video. Okay, so to start off with, we're going to move this to the side, and we have this part right here. We go ahead and we take our ring off of there, and we have this. And what we're going to do, this is a size 9. That's the size of the ring. And so this is going to go just like that. And these plates here, by sliding up against there, it keeps the sand from going through. And then this has a red dot. There's a red dot there. We want to keep everything lined up all the time. Once we get that in place, I have this sock and I have cornstarch in it. I'm going to powder that. And I'm going to take just a little bit here, just enough to fill halfway, maybe a little more. I'll push it in with my thumb, then I'll use this dowel. You can go to the hardware store and buy these dowels. Cut it, really inexpensive. And once you get that packed down, then we'll put more in. We'll push it in. You'll notice I don't hammer. It's something I've learned from using this kit, that hammering doesn't work as well for me. Once we get it like that, then we're going to scrape this. So it's nice and flat. And you want to clean off all that. We pick that up. This part here we're done with. And so now we have this. And what we've done is we've created a half core here. So we're going to take this. If you put your thumbs over that, you can pull straight up. You can lift that off. And we have a perfect size 9 half core. Get it in the picture, Craig? Okay. Anyway, so we got that. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to take and we're going to put our cornstarch on there. Then we have our ring. And we want to find the red dot, which is covered with powder, so we're going to blow it off. Okay, so you can see the red dot. I like to always put the red dot here to the left. Okay, just like that. So that's going to go that direction. And the ring, we want the prongs to face down. And you also want to cut the ring so that there's tension on it. So you bend it together so that when you push it on the core, there's some tension. And then you're going to look at this, and you want to line this up so that it's horizontal, the top of this to that. So you want to get that, and see that tension helps so that you can do that and it stays in place. And then you want to make sure it's centered somewhere in the center right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our cornstarch. You could use talc other types of powder. We got a red dot, red dot. So now we're going to set this down, line it up on those posts. And really it's better if you push here. We're going to push that right in. You want to get it all the way down. Needs to go a little farther so that this is flush right here. That side's good, so we're a little crooked, and we just push that a little more on that side, and we're in place. So the next thing to do is this side has the red dot. So we want to line this up so that those pins go inside that part, just like that. We're going to take more cornstarch. Now we're going to take our sand. We're going to fill this about halfway. Just like that. Push it in with this or something like that. We're going to get this. You got to make sure it's over the edge, higher than the edge of the flask. And we're going to take and we're going to scrape this off. Now at this point, we're going to take this, we're going to set it aside just for a second here. And you want to clean up all this excess sand and everything. Get it out of your way. I like to have a metal plate to work against, something that's got some weight behind it. Now we're going to come back. We have this. We're going to set that down. If you set it on something flat, you can pull it apart and you get a perfect impression. So now we have this side. We're going to set that one aside. And if you take and you tap on that a bit, it helps to loosen it up. So then you get under there and you put your thumbs on top of the posts and you pull up very slowly. And what we have is a very, very good impression. And this part now is no longer needed. So that gets set aside. Now you can see here, the ring is a little more towards that side than it is over here. And that's why it's so important to have those dots. Because we know when these two sides go together, which way they have to go. So now this side is pretty much done. And so what we're going to do is we'll set it aside and we're going to work on this side. Now you get yourself an aluminum rod or a steel rod, or it could be a paintbrush or whatever, and you find the center and you push this straight down. And you only want to go that direction. And when it goes through, you pull it out the other end. And then what you want to do is you get a bench knife and you want to create your funnel. Now I have a tool for this. We're going to probably start making, it'll make making the funnel a little easier. But I really think people should learn to do it this way just so they know how. Now you don't want to go all the way through. You want to have a little bit of a sprue. But you want to make sure this is smooth. You don't want any sand particles in there, because sand particles can break loose and they can go down into your casting. Now we want to open up that hole, make sure it's nice and smooth. And we turn it over The next thing you want to do, and I got to take my glasses off so I can see, but you want to round the edges here. And what that's going to do is by rounding them, when the metal rushes in, it's not going to break off any little bits and pieces. Okay, glasses back on. So now this side is all done. That didn't take too long. Got a really nice pour hole there. So now we're going to set that one aside. Well, actually, we'll set them both aside. And we're going to take the core blocks. Now, as I said in the beginning, the resin ones are what a lot of people have. And you would fill these up, and then you can push the core out. But now I've switched to these. They work the same, almost. They produce the same thing. So you want to talc or cornstarch down inside the hole. And this has been kind of an experiment now, where I'm trying to decide what is the best clamp. But I put the big one there. And then I have either this little clamp that could go on, or some of the kits have this. And I haven't decided which is best. They both seem to work really well. So we put that on like that. We put our cornstarch in there. And so the next thing to do is take your sand, and we're going to fill that hole. And so you can see the clamps, what's important about them is so that this doesn't spread while you're filling in the sand. And then you tip it over. You want to make sure both sides are filled in. Pack it in there really good. So now we can take these things off. And you can take this, maybe move it up so it's in the middle here. And then you can take, and you're going to scrape these off flush, just like that. Then what we're going to do, we'll brush that off, take off the main clamp, set that down, and it lifts off. So now we have these two parts. And what we do is we can just take this and pull it off of there. And it's going to have some little edges, and you can just kind of push those down with your finger. And so now we have this side, and we're going to take this, just drop it in there. Maybe not quite that hard, but, and then you want to look on both sides here. I got to pull it up so I can see, but you want to push, make sure it's seated down in there. And then you want to look and make sure you have, you can see where the shank's at, nothing's in the way. And so at this point, you got a couple options. So I have a little vacuum table that comes with one of the kits. And so you could, I find that when I'm doing items like this that have tall prongs, that I can't seem to vent them well enough that I can get them to come out. And so I will use, instead of vents, I'll use a little vacuum table. But I'm going to show you how to do vents in the event you're casting something that doesn't have the tall prongs. So what we're going to do is you need to take this side right here, and you need to take something that's a little rod like this, and you're going to push a hole, and you want it to go all the way through and out the other side. And I just do 2 on each side. And then, and I guess maybe this would have been better to do it first before we did the hole, but either way, and I got to get down here. You want to take a scalpel and pull it over to that hole. This has a little bit of sand right there, so we got that out of there. Sometimes you get down here, you can see there's a little extra sand there. So now we've got those vents, and we're going to go back, make sure that these holes go all the way through. You should be able to see right through them. See, they come out this backside here. You don't want anything that's going to get in the way, keep the air from going through there. And then this, you're going to look, and you have your red dots. Make sure that they are in the right place. So we're going to put that straight down, put it together, just like that. So now, if you're using the vents, you don't really need to tape this other than take a little piece and put it on the seam here and one on this side. And what that does is when the metal's poured, if it expands, it's not going to make this raise. You want it to stay together. So you can use different tapes, but the black electrician's tape works great. And I just cut a piece off and I just put it on there so this can't separate. If I'm using the vacuum table, and this is the vacuum table that I make and sell. If you're using this, which hooks up to a household vacuum, you don't need the vents. And then you would tape it all the way around with the electrician's tape. And from there, you would put this into a toaster oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. And then it's ready to pour. So we're going to leave this video at this point. It's 18 minutes long. And then we'll do another one pouring the metal. All right. Thanks, everybody.